Dr. Umar says a lot of things, some that I agree with, some that I don't agree with, some that I'm still on the fence about. But one thing that Dr. Umar and I agree with is that religion is letting Black people down. Black people for years and years on end have sought refuge in the church, have believed, have held a faith system, but unfortunately, so to say, that their needs and their weaknesses and their vulnerabilities have been exploited for profit. And the same people that profit from Black people's faith and religion do not care to give back to the Black community.
My problem with Black religion is threefold. You take three things from Black people that we can't afford to waste money and can't never get back. Number one is money. You take too much resources. Time. Every Black church should have three institutions. You should have a school for our kids, a bank to invest in our people, and you should have a community garden to feed our people good food.
Hello there, how you doing? Welcome to another episode of our Conversations. My name is Ondiro Oganga. I am a digital content creator and a business news journalist by profession. I love coming on here, having conversations with you guys about Black people, Africans, our empowerment, and how we can rise up and take our rightful place at the global stage. You can connect with me on social media at Ondiro Oganga, or you can come over to my YouTube channel. The name is Ondiro Oganga, where I get to profile Africa through politics, people, and culture. New videos begin dropping this January, so see you on the other side. But while you're here, let's talk about Dr. Umar. He's a very interesting person. He's a very sharp debater. Ever since he did his interview with a local podcast in America, he's been all over the Twitter streets. And I want to discuss a piece of that conversation that he was having. He said a lot of things that we've discussed on this channel, but I think that the religion aspect is very important for us to discuss. Why do I say this? Black people have been very loyal to the church. They have been very faithful. Black people give. Black people have stood by the church. Black people have propped up and raised up their preachers. They've raised their staters. They've built mega churches for themselves. Black people sort of found a sense of community and a sense of belonging in the church. It was a place where color did not matter. It was a place where come as you are, where all your weaknesses and vulnerabilities were welcomed, where nobody judged you for what you're going through. So it was a safe space and continues to be a safe place for Black people. Same thing in America, same thing here in Africa. I lived in Ghana for 2 years. I have never been in a more religious country than that. They go to church on Monday, there's another service on Tuesday, there's something on Wednesday, there's something on Thursday, there's something on Friday, Saturday half day, there's a program in church, Sunday the services are like 2-3 hours long, there's an afternoon program. So church is at the middle, it's at the center of their life. They live, breathe, and eat the gospel. But this is a conversation that I've had with my husband 1,000,001 times. Why isn't the church addressing the current needs of the societies that it finds itself in? The church has not grown. The church has not morphed. If anything, it's becoming stale because young people cannot, and even just people in general, cannot find something to relate with, something reasonable, something to hold on to, something that is noble about the church anymore. It just can't be about God, praise and worship, fasting, praying, and all that stuff, and propping up pastors, some who have crazy entitlement this day of all the things that they want the congregation to do for them, without the church reciprocating. Outside of spiritual well-being, what other value is the church adding, right? And I've lived in countries where there's very little to no spirituality. Take a look, for example, at China. I didn't see a church. I saw one church and it was a tourist attraction. So where's the disconnect there, right? Where's the disconnect? I look at places like the Middle East where Islam is rife. That religion is one of the religions. They support each other. They come through for each other. Those mosques are safe havens for their people. Why can't the church be that for us? Listen to what Dr. Umar had to say.
My problem with Black religion is threefold. You take three things from Black people that we can't afford to waste money and can't never get back. Number one is money. You take too much resources. Time. Every Black church should have three institutions. You should have a school for our kids, a bank to invest in our people, and you should have a community garden to feed our people good food. Every church should have those three. If you are bringing in at least $250,000 a year in tithes and you ain't got a school, a bank, and a garden, you a goddamn fraud. I don't care who you are. Remember what I said, 250K. If you less than 250K, you should still be doing something. But I'm not going to hold you to the same standard. But if you're $250,000 that you can depend on annually, you should have some institutions for the people. So number one, they take too much money. Number two, Joe, they take too much of our time. You don't get your time back. You can make that money back. You can't make your time back. Bible study, Sunday service, Sunday morning service, Sunday night service, gospel choir, Thursday. Why are you taking all this time and you're not giving us nothing? Wow. And the third thing that they take from us that we can't afford to waste and have misuse is hope. The black church abuses our hope by constantly making you feel Jesus or Muhammad going to come and make everything right when the time is right. And that's why black religion plays right into the hand of the white power structure. You know why? Because it has black people thinking they don't have to do but wait and pray in order to change their circumstances. And that's why Napoleon Bonaparte, and I'm no fan of Napoleon Bonaparte, the white man's greatest military strategist, said what? Religion is what keeps the poor man from killing the rich one.
Yes, indeed.
No, religion ain't nothing but mind control. Nobody has ever opened up a church to liberate people. Churches were created to control minds. You can't show me a religion or a religious organization that believes in free thought and liberation of consciousness. Every religion is a mind control institution.
No truer words have ever been spoken, right? I want us to go through it step by step. He says, first of all, you must have a school. Because education, I will not speak extensively about America, you can tell me in the comment section, but education more so for black people, for colored people, for less fortunate people, is not the kind of quality that you would get out there if you have the means to afford it. Now, we know the kind of communities that we come from. We know the benefits that these people would get. And you know, education is not just black classroom. Education is recreation, not necessarily sports centers. Education is a music school. Education is a technical and vocational center. Education is an art and crafts center. Education is a music center. Education is a place where children can come or young people can come and be safe, learn a skill, add value to their life while protecting them from the dangers of the world. We don't see that. We really don't see that. I'll give you a practical example. And this is something, again, that my husband and I were discussing. In Kenya and in Ghana, churches have schools. But those schools are so expensive. Congregants cannot afford to take their kids there. It's children of people who are outside the church that come to study in the church, that come to study in the school church, a school that was built by money from the church members who cannot afford to educate their kids in the same school. What kind of logic are we using? No, seriously, what kind of logic are we using? What kind of people are we turning into? Second, financial institution. These churches have money. They genuinely have money. There's a church in Kenya that built their mega church for 1 billion Kenyan shillings. That's about $100 million. Are you seeing where I'm going with this? There's so many people in the church that would like to start a business, that are running a business, that would like to expand on their business, but we know how funding works. We know how funding works. We know how funding works when it comes to people of color. We know how we're perceived. We know how our businesses are perceived. We know how we're perceived when it comes to business and money. Why can't you do something functional or worthy for your community? In fact, you can say, come borrow from the church. You know, if you're a church member, we'll even give you a lower interest rate because it's your money. It is your money. Instead, this we're buying Rolexes and big houses instead of investing back in the very people whose vulnerability they're exploiting or they benefit from. Come as you are. Then when you come as you are, they take everything that you have and better their life and leave you the way you are or even worse, you know. Finally, a garden to feed people, you know. Even here in Africa, I think in America, there's a problem with healthy diets. Quality food is expensive. But here in Africa, we deal with hunger, we deal with famine. These are things that the church can take up, you know. And people spend so much time in the church. That's something that we, again, need to discuss. We don't have to pray every day. These are young people. These are young demographic. They're giving you their time, which they will never get back. I want to see conversations about mental health being taught in church. I want to see entrepreneurship being taught in church. I want to see networking and mentorship happening at church, because I can't speak for America categorically, but here in Africa, everybody's in church, you know. So even probably your next employer could be in church. Everybody with the skill sets that we need to advance ourselves are in church. So why can't we leverage these things? Why can't we take advantage of these things? And these are things that continue to baffle me. And when you speak about these things, people tell you, oh, it's only Christianity that you're always attacking. It's because as Christians, the way the white man gave us the doctrine, the way he gave it to us, we've not adapted it to suit our blackness, to suit our needs as black people, to attend to our challenges, our weaknesses. We have taken it just as is, and those who can benefit from it keep benefiting from it. We don't ask questions. We're not trying to advance ourselves. We don't question the essence of spirituality and community. Why do we gather every Sunday? Why? Why? If we cannot do good and help each other on earth, what's the essence of heaven? But when I ask these questions, you people will say I'm a bad person. So that's the last question I'm asking. Let me know what you think in the comment section. These are things that continue to trouble me, and these are questions that I always have. And I love that the Africa Diaspora News Channel is a platform where we can have these conversations, we can raise these issues, and we can talk about them candidly without fear of contradiction. Let me know what you think in the comment section. I want to hear your thoughts. Do you agree? Do you disagree? Do you have a question? Let me know. My name is Ondiro Oganga. Connect with me on social media at Ondiro Oganga, or come to my channel where I profile Africa through politics, people, and culture. I'll see you again next time.